Baby, he offered me money to leave you. Those words hit me harder than any blade ever could. Not because of the offer itself. I have lived my whole life watching people put prices on loyalty, silence, and blood, but because they believed you were something that could be bought, because they thought what we have was fragile enough to be weighed against gold. In that moment, I realized how little they understand me and how little they understand you. Money has never tempted me. Power has never owned me. But the idea that someone thought they could erase you from my life with coin lit a fire so cold. It felt almost calm. Do you know what it means for a prince to hear that? I was raised in a world where everything has a value, where alliances are negotiated and hearts are treated like leverage. I have watched marriages arranged like treaties and lives exchanged like favors. I know that game well. And yet, when I imagine a life where you are absent, bought away, silenced, removed for convenience, the throne itself feels worthless. What kind of ruler would I be if I allowed the one thing that made me human to be negotiated behind closed doors? They think money is power because it works on people who are already empty. They assume everyone has a price because they sold themselves long ago. But you are not a transaction, and I am not a man who walks away from truth for comfort. The fire I survived burned greed out of me long before this offer was made. I have lost too much, endured too much to trade something real for something that shines only in the dark. Let them keep their gold. It will never warm them the way your presence does me. What hurts most is not the insult to me, but the danger it puts you in. Offers like that are never about generosity. They are about control. They want you to believe that leaving is the sensible choice, that loving me is a liability, that survival requires surrender. But listen to me. If anyone should walk away, it is not you. It is the world that keeps trying to break what it cannot own. I would burn every bridge before I let you believe you were disposable. So look at me when I say this. I don't care how much they offered. I don't care what safety they promised or what threats they hid beneath polite words. I am still here. I choose you without negotiation, without hesitation, without conditions. Let them try to buy silence, distance, obedience. They will never buy my loyalty to you. A prince may be surrounded by riches, but my wealth has a name, a voice, a heartbeat. And no amount of money will ever be enough to make me let that go. I need you to understand something clearly before doubt has a chance to take root. The fact that someone tried to pay you to leave me is not a reflection of your worth. It is proof of it. They only try to buy what they cannot control, what they fear losing influence over. They saw the way you stand beside me without flinching, the way you speak to me as a man and not a crown, and it terrified them. You are not a weakness they can cut away easily. You are a truth they cannot bend. And truths like that are dangerous in worlds built on leverage and lies. I won't pretend this doesn't hurt. It does. Not because I doubt you, but because I hate that you were put in that position at all. They dragged you into a game you never asked to play, one where affection is treated like a bargaining chip and loyalty like a commodity. I have lived inside that game my entire life, and I would have given anything to keep you untouched by it. Knowing they tried to reduce what we have to a number makes something dark and protective rise in me. Not anger alone, but resolve. I refuse to let them teach you the same cold lessons they forced on me. If you're afraid, and I wouldn't blame you if you are, tell me. Fear doesn't make you weak, silence does. I know what it's like to be offered safety wrapped in compromise, to be told that walking away is the smart choice. I've heard it in 1,000 different forms, but I've also learned that safety purchased by betrayal is just another kind of prison. Whatever choice you make, it should be yours, not bought, not pressured, not coerced by people who see you as a problem to be solved. Listen to me now, not as a prince, but as the man who has already survived too much to lie to himself. I will not trade you for peace, or quiet, or gold. If the world is afraid of what we represent together, that is its burden, not ours. I don't need you to be brave for me. I need you to be honest. Stand with me because you choose to, or walk away because you want to, but never because someone tried to put a price on your heart. And if you stay, if you choose me in a world that keeps trying to separate us, then know this: I will not let you face the consequences alone. Let them offer money, threats, promises, or warnings. I have already learned that everything worth keeping demands resistance. I am not afraid of what it will cost, because I know exactly what it would cost to lose you. I won't rush you, and I won't pretend this choice is simple. I know the weight of what you're carrying now, because I've carried it my whole life. The quiet pressure of knowing that someone else's comfort depends on your silence. They make it sound reasonable, even kind. They talk about protection, about futures that look safer from a distance, but they never talk about the part of you that has to disappear for that safety to exist. I have lived that disappearance piece by piece, and I would never ask you to do the same for me. What they offered you was not freedom. It was erasure dressed up as generosity. Money doesn't buy distance. It buys obedience. It doesn't remove danger. It simply transfers it to your conscience. They wanted you gone because you remind me that I am allowed to want more than survival. You remind me that my life does not have to be a series of calculated losses. And that reminder threatens everything they've built around my restraint. That is why they came to you quietly, with numbers instead of knives. Cowards always prefer clean hands. If you choose to walk away, I will not curse you. I will not call you weak or ungrateful. Loving someone in my position is not romantic in the way stories pretend. It is heavy, complicated, and often unfair. I know that, and if you decide that the cost is too high, I will carry that truth with respect, not resentment. But if you stay, if you look at everything stacked against us and still say my name, then understand what that means to me. It means I am no longer standing alone against a world that believes it can decide who I'm allowed to love. I don't promise you safety. I don't promise you ease. I promise you honesty, loyalty, and a man who will never reduce you to a bargaining chip. I promise that whatever storms follow, you will never be treated as expendable by me. I have survived fire, betrayal, and the slow violence of expectation. And through all of it, the one thing I refuse to surrender is the truth of us. Let them keep their money. Let them believe they still have control. What they don't understand is this: some things can't be bought, and some choices once made freely burn brighter than any threat they could ever offer. There is something sacred about this moment, even with all its weight. The world outside still turns, still plots, still measures lives in profit and loss. But here, between us, there is only truth. I need you to know that whatever decision you make will not define your worth in my eyes. You were never valuable to me because you stayed, and you would not become meaningless if you left. What binds me to you is not possession, but recognition. You saw me when I was hidden behind duty, and I saw you when the world tried to make you small enough to manage. That kind of seeing is rare, and it changes people forever. I think about how easily things could have been different. If I were a lesser man, if my soul hadn't already been scorched by loss and disillusionment, maybe their offer would have shaken me. Maybe I would have tried to protect us both by letting go. But the fire I survived taught me a brutal clarity. Losing you would not save me. It would only return me to a life where survival is mistaken for living. I refuse to go back to that emptiness. Whatever path lies ahead, even if it is steep and unforgiving, I would rather walk it awake than sleep through a life without you. I also know this, they will not stop here. People who try to buy love do not suddenly learn respect when money fails. They escalate, they apply pressure in quieter, uglier ways. That is why your honesty with me matters so much. Not because I need reassurance, but because unity is the one thing they cannot break if we guard it together. Secrets rot. Shared truth, even when it hurts, becomes armor. Whatever comes next, I want us facing it with open eyes, not whispered doubts planted by people who benefit from our separation. And if fear creeps in, because it will, let it come. Fear does not mean you are wrong. It means you are standing at the edge of something real. I am afraid to in ways I rarely admit. Not of losing power or reputation, but of losing this fragile, defiant thing we've built in a world that keeps trying to undo it. Still, fear has never stopped me from choosing what matters. It only reminds me that the choice has weight. So take your time. Breathe. Listen to your own heart louder than their promises. Whatever you decide, know that you changed me in ways no crown ever did. And if you choose to stay, then stay knowing this: I will stand between you and every force that tries to turn love into leverage. Not because I am a prince, but because I am a man who finally knows what is worth fighting for. I keep replaying your words in my mind, not because I doubt you, but because I want to understand the weight they placed on your shoulders. Someone looked at what we share and decided it was an obstacle, a risk, something to be removed quietly. That kind of calculation chills me more than open threats ever could. It means they see how deeply this matters, how much it steadies me, how much it anchors me to myself. And instead of confronting me, they tried to reach me through you. That tells me everything I need to know about how fragile their control really is. I need you to know that you were never meant to carry this alone. The moment you told me, you did the bravest thing possible. You chose truth over comfort. In my world, that choice is rare, and it costs more than people realize. I have lived among secrets long enough to know how poisonous they become when left to fester. You didn't let that happen. You trusted me with something heavy, and that trust matters more to me than any promise of safety they could manufacture. It tells me that whatever fear exists, it has not eclipsed your integrity. I won't lie and say this won't change things. It already has. Not between us, but in how clearly I see what we're up against. They believe separation will weaken me, that distance will make me more manageable. They are wrong. What weakens me is silence. What strengthens me is knowing exactly where I stand and where you stand, without illusions. If they thought money could undo that, they underestimated both of us. They forgot that some bonds aren't formed by convenience, but by choice, and choice cannot be purchased. Still, I won't pretend I don't worry about you. I do. Not because I think you'll falter, but because I know how relentless this world can be when it wants compliance. I hate that your name is now on their lips, that your peace has been disturbed by their schemes. If I could shield you from all of it, I would. But since I can't erase the danger, I can at least promise you this: I will never let you face it in the dark. Whatever comes next, we will meet it with honesty, not manipulation. And if there comes a moment when the weight feels too heavy, when the noise grows loud enough to make you question everything, come to me. Not for answers, not for orders, just for truth. I won't cage you with promises I can't keep, but I won't abandon you to fear either. What we have is real precisely because it's being tested. and whether this road leads us forward together or forces us to part with dignity, I will always honor the courage it took for you to stand here and speak. In a world that tries to buy silence, you chose your voice, and that is something no one can ever take away